Well, hello again. Welcome to you and me and multiple sclerosis. My name is Pam, and I am making videos because I miss my support group back in New York now that I'm out in Washington State. And I wondered if other people too would just like to talk about MS, not with professional people, but just amongst ourselves, and share what we've been through and what we're going through. Share the tips and tricks about how we manage our lives, things we've learned, joys that we still can share. I think there's a lot to talk about. And today I wanted to talk about, that we had snow this morning. I think that was kind of fun. There wasn't much really, but it still was the first significant snow of the season. And I'm always happy for that for some reason. I guess I'm like a little kid. I just like it. But today I kind of wanted to talk about a book that has played a big role in my MS life. I guess I'll just start by showing it to you, which is interesting because it's going to come out backwards. This I already figured out. It's going to come out backwards, and that's, as you can see, it's a pretty old, banged up edition. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't show you. Here we go. I just showed it to you on Amazon. You could get it in multiple places, I'm sure. It's still in print, obviously. It's the Multiple Sclerosis Diet Book by Laver Swank. And he was pioneering way back in the mid-20th century. He was a pioneer in the study of MS and how it could be treated exclusively with diet. And I know that there are many books that have come out since then. Terry Walls has a protocol. There's many others. But there was something about this one I really appreciated. I found out later on that he is, or was, I should say, was the chief neurologist, the head of the neurology department at what is now Oregon Health and Science University, which for the state of Oregon it's probably the equivalent of Mass General in Boston or, some of the major hospitals. It's a teaching hospital or teaching university, teaching hospital. They treat patients. They train new doctors. They are always involved in the cutting edge research. They know what's going on. Well, he was the head of that neurology department for quite some time. So I think that makes his book worth a look. And his core principle back in those days was that MS is very sensitive to what people eat. In particular, he wanted people not to eat saturated fat. He felt that that was really the big culprit with MS. And he had theories about the kinds of material that the body tries to build myelin out of, the myelin being that sheathing that goes over your nerves, kind of like the rubberized coating on wire. That may be right or wrong, I'm not sure. He also talked about the blood and the effects of diet on the blood and different things. One thing he didn't really know much about or have maybe the awareness that we have in the modern day is the effect of sugar on people in general, and certainly people with MS. But his book, which I showed you, has not just medical information and some description of his own experiments and his work that he did, but also some recipes by a nutritionist that took advantage of the principles that he is promoting. Unfortunately, he has passed away. But I will say it was really nice because when I was out here in Washington State, I made an appointment and I actually had several consultations with him when he was still alive. And what a wonderful man. I couldn't say enough about him. The thing is, he tried to spend a significant amount of time with patients, not the assembly line kind of, maybe you're lucky if you get 15, 20 minutes with somebody. he wasn't like that. But you can imagine what ended up happening was that the insurance companies would not cover all that time, and the patients could not afford to pay the full amount, or what the whatever the insurance company wouldn't pick up. So unfortunately, that pretty much caused Dr. Swank's clinic to have to close, and I was very sorry about that, because he was a wonderful man, and his heart was really into MS research, to the point where his work today is not recognized by the scientific community, mainly because he did not do the standard. It's like a gold standard that you have to do a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. Well, he didn't feel the control was ethical, because he felt so strongly that he was onto something that he thought, well, why would I have a control that wasn't going to do the protocol when I know that they're going to get worse on the way that they're going on? They need what I'm offering. Well, because he wouldn't have a control group, he didn't find it ethical. The scientific community said, well, without a peer review, without a control group, it's not really a valid experiment. It's not really valid results. But he tracked people over decades, and it's really true that people that didn't eat saturated fat did much better than the people who did eat it. And as a result, I've really been trying to watch that myself. In fact, I've been a lot more aware of things like plant-based eating and low to no sugar, things like that. But I do think that they help. I'm not sure I can pinpoint why they help, but I don't think it hurts. Even if you don't have MS, I think it's a good diet. My husband eats the way I eat, and he's happy to do it. It was all his own initiative to do that. I was ready to have him eat his own thing, but nope, he wants to eat the way I do. So, hey, it makes life easier. So, no problem there. I wanted to mention one thing that Dr. Swank talked about, and you might think about this for yourself. He believed that people who have MS tend to be people who, before they had MS, were extremely hardworking, productive members of society. They were often very intelligent, very gifted in some way. So that the MS was almost cruel in a way, because it took them, to some degree at least, out of the mainstream where they really could have been being promoted in their jobs or taking on things that, once you have MS, you really think twice about doing. And he said, this is the thing that I found very shocking, he said, if the person is not essentially, a type A personality, I would question whether they actually have MS. Wow, that's quite a statement. And I'd be interested to know, if you want to leave a comment, do you think it describes you, or do you think that in your pre-MS life, you were more of a type A kind of driving personality, always trying to achieve things, eager to learn and grow? Or do you feel like you were a more laid-back person, which is not to say, of course, that, you weren't hardworking or intelligent, but just that you didn't feel that inner drivenness that he said was characteristic of the people who had MS. I would be curious to know. So leave a comment for me. That would be really, really helpful, I think, for all of us to know that. But I do recommend the book. It's not as out of date as it might appear at first. Obviously, it's still in print. But I also think that a lot of scientists are coming around to the idea that, I think that Roy Swank was on to something. He may not have been up on all the latest research and everything, but his idea of MS and diet, really, really ahead of his time in many ways. So, if you want to have something to add to your reading list and you haven't already got yourself a copy of this book, I think you ought to go out and get it. Borrow it from the library, do whatever. I was very, very blessed that my good friend gave me a copy of it early on. And obviously from the condition of the cover, you can tell that, I have been through this thing many times. Look at this beautiful frame. Yeah, you can tell this book has been well loved. Well, that's pretty much what I wanted to say today. I think occasionally I am going to talk about a book that I've read and has really spoken to me about MS and, how the theories of that book seem to ring true for me. I'd also love to just hear from you. Do you have any favorite books that you have kept by and maybe read multiple times? Maybe books you've given to your friends and family to help them understand MS a little better. I'm always eager to learn what books are out there because I'm a great reader and I love to have books around me. So I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to your day, but I appreciate your time and I will see you again in my next video.